Okay, guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about hormone nomenclature, or specifically identifying natural hormones, bioidentical hormones, and we're calling out doctors, pharmaceutical companies, drug companies, the general public for calling birth control hormones when they're absolutely not, and that's a good thing if you're taking them to prevent a pregnancy. So let's get into this. Natural hormones. Those are the hormones created in your body or the body of another animal. These are the hormones that all these crunchy mamas or crunchy women want to support with vitamins, minerals, any supplement that you can. Maybe you're getting DNA testing, genetic testing to see do you have any SNPs. I specifically have a SNP where zinc is converted and absorbed. So in the second half of my cycle, I get really bad rosacea because that's when my zinc is highly absorbed and I deplete my zinc stores and I'm not absorbing like I should. And so I know I have to deal with that if I want to support my natural hormones. An example of a natural hormone that people have used as hormone replacement for years is Premarin. It is a natural hormone and it is specifically for estrogen hormone replacement. It comes from the urine of pregnant horses, and then that estrogen is purified from that urine. The problem that I have with calling Premarin a natural hormone is just because it's produced from this horse's urine and then we extract it, it still has to be purified, stabilized, and manufactured into a pharmaceutical product so that the patient or the client has a predictable dose, it's stable on the shelf, and it can be safely prescribed, and we want that. So if you are someone who talks to their provider and say you want a natural hormone and they give you Premarin, just realize that it still has some elements to it that have been created in a factory. And really, the hormones in your body being produced from your ovaries, your adrenal glands, your adipose, or your fatty tissue is the only natural hormone that you can have. I have definitely been one of those crunchy mamas that's like, I am going to support my own natural hormones and I am not going to do replacement because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. And I've just got to tell you, it is incredibly difficult because as we age, our hormones naturally decline. Every time we ovulate and we produce an egg, that's one less egg that we have in our arsenal, in our follicle, in our ovary to produce the next time. And so our hormones are naturally declining every single time that we ovulate. And for someone like me who naturally does not have a lot of adipose tissue, I'm not, my BMI is not high. I don't produce a lot of hormones from my adipose or my fatty tissue. And so supporting my natural hormones is incredibly difficult. And I have taken the vitamins, I've taken the minerals, I've done the testing, and I still feel that fatigue. I still feel that low libido. I still see those skin changes that I don't want to have happen in my 30s. And so this is where I want to talk specifically about bioidentical hormones that are designed to closely match, if not exact, the primary estradiol and progesterone and testosterone that is produced in your body. I'm going to show you right here the estradiol molecule. This is your body's natural estradiol molecule. Very important when we're discussing bioidentical versus birth control. The progesterone molecule. This is another naturally occurring hormone produced in our female bodies, and it's very important to understand again when we compare progesterone naturally occurring in our body, that's occurring in our bodies, progesterone that's micronized and it's bioidentical to be just like the ones in our bodies versus progestins, which are birth controls with some off-label uses. These are very important that the molecule in our natural hormone state and our bioidentical hormone is exactly the same because it has to be able to bind to a receptor. The receptor, if you will, is the space station. The hormone is the spaceship. They have to dock and connect perfectly if we want the desired effect, the natural effect of this hormone. Hormones that are not immediately used or don't immediately dock at the space station, they might circulate in our bodies and they're usually bound to proteins called binding globulins. And this helps transport and regulate them throughout the body. Hormones that remain free or unbound, they're active and capable of interacting with receptors and influencing tissues in the body. And so our body naturally attaches to these binding globulins. You might hear your provider say sex hormone binding globulin. That is like the storage cabinet for your hormones so that they can be used when needed. But I will say our bodies are very reluctant to release these hormones from the sex hormone binding globulin because they are our storage cabinet. They are our pantry for emergency uses. So some of the things that help release those hormones are telling our bodies that we're safe and we have enough food, which is high protein, high fiber diets. That will help your hormones release and be used in your body. I want to show you a schematic of where hormones actually come from. All steroid hormones, including progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, and estrogen, are created from cholesterol. Yes, cholesterol is not bad. And we really are taking a long time in our culture to realize, again, that cholesterol is good. It is the foundational building block our bodies use to create these hormones. And this last thing I want to show you is the natural hormone pathway from progesterone to testosterone to estradiol. This is part of the normal steroid hormone cascade that naturally occurs within the human body. Understanding these pathways helps explain why hormones are all interconnected and why changes in one hormone can influence so many other systems in our body. Because if you see that progesterone can be converted to testosterone by different enzymes, and that testosterone can be converted to estradiol with different enzymes. And those enzymes are important because without them, we can't convert. And the other important part is that we don't want to convert down what we call bad pathways that can lead to undesired effects of the hormonal breakdowns. So that's why supplements like DIM are super important with just helping balance the, if you will, trash once the hormone has broken down and we need to get that out of our body. And DIM, if we want to simplify it down, is really just like eating a ton of cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, spinach. Nature's way of helping balance our hormones if we actually ate enough of those cruciferous vegetables. But DIM is kind of a good supplement if you don't do a lot of that. So let's talk about bioidentical hormones. These are usually derived from plants, specifically yams. They're synthesized in a lab. They are not natural, but they are created to be the same chemical structure as your natural hormones. So this means that they can attach to the same receptor and attach the same way to the receptor as your natural hormones do. And that means they can act and do the same thing in your body as your natural hormones do. And when you hear side effects of natural hormones, such as losing your hair with testosterone replacement, I'm sure you have had a provider try to scare you with that tactic. It's not a side effect. Testosterone breaks down and converts to, or can convert to DHT, which does cause male pattern baldness. And this is an effect of naturally occurring testosterone in men anyways. We don't want that side effect. That way therefore we start with a very low dose of testosterone and we shouldn't have these occur. Very small amounts of testosterone are needed in women. And so if you've ever had a provider look at your testosterone labs when you're getting a replacement and say, your testosterone's 200, blah, 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 you're practically a man. That's not true. If a man had a testosterone level of 200, he would not be happy. He would be incredibly fatigued, essentially no libido, etc. He wants to be 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200, etc. So just to kind of give you a few references there. During hormone replacement, testosterone levels, like I said, can get too high. And our goal, like I said, is to make sure they don't get too high. One way we can do this, if women are like, I just am too scared to go the testosterone replacement route, is we can work with progesterone. Because progesterone in women naturally goes down a chemical pathway to testosterone and then on to estrogen. I'm going to show you this graph again of how this can work. One thing that surprises women is that progesterone is upstream from this testosterone here, as you can see with these little enzymes that can convert it. This means that the progesterone can help with healthy androgen production in women if we have the right enzymes and cofactors. Again, that goes back to diet, that goes back to supplementing with minerals and vitamins, making sure those are available for your body to make those enzymes. And even if we do just want to call it a pregnancy, a progestation hormone, I'm good with that. I want to be as healthy as I was in pregnancy. And some women might not say that. They're like, oh, I felt terrible in pregnancy. I just am speaking specifically of how our bodies optimize themselves with high progesterone, high estrogen levels in pregnancy to make sure that our bones are healthy so we don't break anything, our brains are clear so we don't do anything stupid, our vasculature is healthy so that we get blood supply to our baby, etc. And we are never going to replace as many hormones, progesterone and estrogen, as you have in pregnancy, up into the thousands for estrogen and high hundreds for progesterone. You're never going to get that high with hormone replacement therapy. So you don't have to worry about feeling pregnant again. Bioidentical hormones do not shut down ovulation in our bodies. When women before menopause take progesterone and estradiol, their ovaries do not stop maturing and releasing an egg. We never replace estrogen and progesterone to the high levels like in pregnancy. So women are still maturing and releasing an egg. So if you know that progesterone and estradiol are important for hardening and strengthening your bones, the health of your blood vessels, the clarity of your brain, the strength of your immune system, and so on, you don't want to shut down these hormones. You want to support them before they start declining. And that's what bioidentical hormones are for. A lot of women do want to wait until menopause comes and they have no more progesterone and they have no more estradiol, and then they want to start replacing these. And that's all good and well. You are just going to be in a hole and you're going to try to get out of that hole. Whereas for me, I want to start now because I already know they're declining, and I would like to take my menstrual cycle and bump it up a level. It's going to stay the same, but we're just going to bump it up a level to help support all of my hormones. I specifically now want to talk about birth control or contraceptives. This is not things like condoms or spermicide or natural family planning. And I would like to say that a better name for hormonal birth control would just simply be to call them a medication. Just like any other medication, it has a specific job to do and it does have side effects. They are structurally different than hormones in your body. They are nothing like your natural hormones, and they are nothing like your bioidentical hormones, but they have been created to attach to your hormone receptors. So they do affect your body, but in a different way than naturally occurring hormones or bioidentical hormones. And on top of that, they can attach to other receptors that they are not intended to attach to, and they can cause unwanted side effects. Synthetic progestins are not progesterone. Even though they bind to the progesterone receptors, many of them can interact with other androgen receptors. And this is different based off of their structure and what they were created to do by different pharmaceutical companies. That is why different birth control medications can have different side effects related to changes in your mood, acne. Some of them help acne, water retention, changes in libido, migraines, or metabolic effects like gaining weight, which we do know that hormonal birth control can do. And this can come in different forms like pills, patches, or inserts into your arm. And I'm going to give you a list here of all the different names of commonly used progestins: norethindrone, levonorgestrel, gesperinone, ethanogestrel, norgestrel. The list goes on, and they are under different names like Yaz or the O pill or mini pills. So when we discuss your hormones, we have to stop simplifying everything into hormones are dangerous, as in bioidentical hormones are dangerous, and birth control fixes everything, because that's the narrative right now. And then when they want to kind of change the narrative, it's, oh no, birth control pills are hormones. They act just like your body. So which one is it? Are natural and bioidentical hormones dangerous and give us cancer and cause blood clots, which they don't, and all of the studies show that that's not true? Or are birth control pills completely different than bioidentical or natural hormones and they're safe, etc.? But we can look at the studies. Bioidentical hormones do not increase our risk for cancer. They do not increase our risk for blood clots, and they do help protect our bones as we age. And they do a lot more. And we do know that progestins, or birth control pill, or whatever we want to call them, they do increase our risk for blood clots. They do cause a problem with our bones breaking down. They do give us migraines and mood changes, but they do help us to not get pregnant. So that's a benefit, right? So we just have to understand these differences, and we have to understand that bioidentical hormones are not natural, but they do match our natural hormones in a way that they cause the same effects as our natural hormones. They do not have major side effects like cancer and blood clots and breakdown of our bones. And on top of that, they support our natural hormones in a way that helps us age healthier and feel better. And so that's what we have to understand about natural hormones, bioidentical hormones, and birth control. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions or if you want to clarify something that maybe I said completely wrong, and to help other women out that are really trying to understand all this. We'll see you in the next video.